everybody, welcome back to another pre-market stream here with the Everyday Growth Advisors. I hope you're having a good evening or morning wherever you are. We had PPI data that just came out. Looks like it was a little, just a tingy-wingy little bit worse than expected, which means that inflation's not completely, taken care of. Obviously, we knew this was gonna happen, or this was an expected result out of the possibilities for the future. Inflation is not something that just goes away magically over, the course of one quarter. But at the same time, we do see the possibility for the setup here into a squeeze. Okay, so we're still kind of embracing the possibility of scenario 3 playing out, which was the sideways move and then the rally up before the sell-off, and it should be interesting. We'll see exactly what the market gives us today. Next week is going to be definitely a more volatile week because we have Monday, which will be setting up into Tuesday CPI numbers, and then Wednesday with FOMC and Powell speaking once again. It's definitely going to be an interesting week, to say nonetheless. Not to mention we have OPEX next week, which also make things a lot more worse, as all the market dealers are going to start to either hedge off their risk or roll their contracts, and that should also pose a lot of choppiness and volatility heading into this next week. SPX spent most of the past 2 days moving sideways and then attempting to rally out of this region. It barely made its way into the 4,000 level. And we are definitely expecting, or we're hoping, that we get a continued run to the upside to first retest the 4,040 level, and then after that the 4,100 level. If we can get both of these tests, then we can possibly see a retest of the 4150. Otherwise, we continue to squeeze sideways here, and we go for that scenario where we have to fake breakout to the downside. Now, what would send us really further down, like the bearish scenario, is, remember, it's the break of that 3905 and the retest of 3905. So we need to break this level, come back to retest it, and then we can get that extension to the downside. So don't be too quick to take bearish positions if you are thinking that the market is going to go bearish, because you have a lot of time to decide on that. I don't think that we'll see like an immediate flush to the downside, because that's usually happens because of panic or fear. As of this morning, let's have a look at where everything is. The Nasdaq still kind of battling out with this long-term trend line. The IWM, which I mentioned was looking bearish, is in a bear flag right now, and has been bouncing on this level for quite a few times, which is the 180 level. And then you have the VIX, which is at about 2.2% up today, pre-market, but still hasn't crossed over the $24 level, which is the psychological, or rather the level at which we start to say that fear starts to pour into the market. So all in all, indicators are still looking a little light, all things considered, and we don't see that super bearish setup just yet. In other words, there is still likelihood of more like for a bullish squeeze rather than a bearish situation. So we'll follow our 3 scenarios that we laid out in Wednesday's plan, and we'll be sticking to them. Unless we get the break below 3905 and hold below 3905, that's the only way I'll start to get bearish. If we keep holding the 3900 level or 3905 level, we keep coming down here and bouncing, then that sets up the squeeze to the upside, continued upside into 4040, 4100, 4150, all of these 3 levels out here. Remember, our projection here for entertainment purpose was to have that pullback and then the rally, and then possibly the sell-off into post FOMC next week. So that we're still kind of sticking with that, and we'll see what the market gives us as we get there. Apart from that, dollar index not really doing much this morning. Hasn't broken down, but has been bouncing quite a lot at the same level at 104.60, and we'll see if we can get that flush down to see the continued breakout on the S&P 500 here. If the dollar starts to rally and gets above 105.80 or 105.85, then that sets up a retest of the 108 level once again, forming higher highs here. So that's something that we'll be looking at. Apart from that, semis, NVDA was a really great play this week. I told you guys about Tesla, how it would, go retest that gap fill and then come back all the way down. It's been, really nice. And at the same time, I told you guys I would rather take the upside exposure on Tesla rather than the downside exposure because we were really close to the gap, remember? And so now I'm looking to take some upside exposure on Tesla. If we can get it, I'll take it only on the break, above like 176 or so. That's the level I'm looking at for Tesla. And we had AMD breakdown pennant. We played that. Continuation possibly might be on the way. Chinese equities have been doing really well the past couple of weeks, and I already flagged that out to you guys on the newsletters. NVIDIA with the bounce on that bottom trend line. I told you guys about this on Wednesday. This was a great setup. So yeah, a lot of things kind of playing out. Google not looking too hot right here, but we could get a nice squeeze to the upside if S&P 500 and NASDAQ cooperate. Let's see what else. Also, Microsoft with that falling wedge breakout retest. So far, it looks nice. We'll see if it can continue to the upside. And Apple squeezed in out of the pennant and came back into the pennant, trapping a lot of bears over here. So let's see. I think it might be a boring session today, but who knows? We might squeeze, but I'm thinking maybe more sideways movement, and then maybe end of the day squeeze, that kind of thing. It could be the possibility. Apart from that, I don't really see any much. Oh yes, I'm watching this rising wedge on Netflix here for a possible bearish positioning when the time comes. But as of right now, I'm not taking any positioning on Netflix. Yeah, so that's all I'm seeing. If you have any questions, you want me to break down the chart, go ahead, put it in the comments right now. Let me do that for you. I have time today, so I can do it. And yeah, I hope you guys are finding these live streams useful. And once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button if you can. If you're tuning in to this stream without signing in, I would truly appreciate you guys switch to the YouTube app so that you can like the video, because I realize some people watch it maybe on just like a browser, and if you're not logged in, then you can't like the video. So if you just did that, it would be great. Keystone pipeline leak. Oh, it's gonna. Does that affect anything? I don't really think that affects much of anything, right? Does it really affect energy? I don't think so. A leak? Probably not. If you say it's something relating to supply cuts, then maybe. What's your most favorite setup today? I would love to play Tesla breakout from 176. That would be something that I'm looking at. Apart from that, let me see. Apple for the bounce play to the upside. Yeah, Tesla, Apple's got to be probably one of the two that I'll be playing with, that I'll be looking to play. And then if everything really goes bearish, like let's say Tesla gets rejected, Apple gets rejected, and then they start breaking down, the market starts going the other way, basically breaking down from this aggressively, then I'd like to go NVIDIA short as well for this rejection here. So yeah, those are probably going to be the top three setups for me, because this could be forming a wedge pattern here, but we'll see. Those three probably, yeah. What else? I mean, let me have a look, because honestly, I feel like right now, the past couple of days has been pretty quiet, and honestly, I haven't taken many trades. Like, let me just show you guys. I haven't taken much trades at all. I need to add one trade to this journal, but apart from that, I haven't taken anything. Still sitting at. I took a loss on Amazon and Caterpillar, and so I'm sitting at a $2,000 profit for the week, and this was also closed out. So yeah, I'm actually gonna probably end the week red unless I trade something today that's gonna be a good week, a good close to the week. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end with a red week today, because this was a complete loss here. So this was zero. because it was a lotto. I took a lotto trade. So I'm $3,000 in loss today. Sorry, for this week. And unless I find something that's gonna pay me more than that today, it'll be a red week, which is okay. It's a small loss. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I've had way too many green weeks, and I knew this was a red week was coming anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. It could have been much worse. I was expecting like a $30,000 loss like last week, so it really clawed back from like these two trades right here, the XLF trade and the JP Morgan trade. They came down nicely for me. So yeah. Let's see. Why did SPY have the $4 drop pre-market? Oh, the PPI numbers just came out. The producers index, it came out, which is a precursor to CPI next week. So that just came out, and it was a little worse than expected, just like 0.1% worse than expected. So that's the reason why. Apart from this, you can see a lot of stocks are just consolidating. They're really not moving that much. Domino's Pizza kind of made a pullback move here, but I don't want to play this just yet. Chinese stocks have been ripping like crazy, so those are, you know, some that I have been looking at, but then at the same time not really trying to push my luck with them too much. Like PDD has been really nice. Goldman Sachs also with a nice pullback. This to the downside. Also Moderna. Watch Moderna. This is another setup that you should be watching. Cup and handle breakout. Looks like it could continue to the upside if it only breaks the 188, 189 level. That has significant upside. And obviously for this, if you're looking for a short-term target, then it's probably going to be around 193. This short-term, obviously. 183 and then 186 and then 200 up here for the Fibonacci extensions. Yeah, should be interesting. Apart from that, let's see. Yeah, I honestly haven't seen many good opportunities. Oh, Airbnb also squeezed back into this this little channel here. So I'll be looking for Airbnb to make a move too. I'll set an alert here actually. Need to set an alert for Airbnb. And the usual suspects on cloud-based technology. These have been also doing pretty bad overall. Etsy. Somebody mentioned Etsy on the live stream before. This one's been consolidating here, but we need that pullback back down to 123 or so. So yeah, honestly, top three: Tesla, Apple, NVDA. These three would be the most liquid and easy to play, more than likely. Those are the three that I'll be focusing on. Yeah, Etsy has been nice, but as I said, I want a little deeper pullback on Etsy, like around 126 or 125. That would be nice. If I can't get it, then I'll take it on the break of 137 or so to the upside. Actually doing well. Yep. The two big up and down moves the past 2 week shows, and I'm gonna assume beginning of next week, Monday, we could see some movement. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, next week is a huge week. We have CPI, we have Fed rate decision, we have Fed Powell speaking press conference, we have OPEC's, a whole bunch of economic data coming out all next week. So you want to definitely conserve. Like what I'm trying to say is conserve your bullets. Like you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're expanding all your buying power or your dry powder. And then next week when the actual move comes and you have an opportunity to make a move, you don't have money to do it. So that's what I always tell you guys. And it's always good to be just prudent in the way you're going to allocate your risk in a week when not much is happening, which is this week, right? This week not much has been happening. We're just continue moving sideways. So I'm not taking on much risk. That's the reason why this week I haven't barely traded. These trades right here are trades that I had prior. These are the only 2 trades that I took. So this week's P&L technically is all of this, which is a $1,000 profit. The reason why I went into a loss is because of Caterpillar, which I closed out at a loss. These two, not so much. So I know where my P&L stands for the week and how it got there, but obviously if today I can somehow get a couple good runners, either bearish or bullish, whichever way this plays out, then I'll take them, and if not, then I'll just close out the week red. Not a bad thing at all. Playing both sides next week. Yeah, for sure. Well, any other questions? You guys have any other things you want me to go through, or you want me to break down any chart specifically? If not, I'm gonna end the stream here. Keep it short, or as short as possible. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And also, let me know what you guys want to see more of. I'm always open to doing different things. So maybe give me some suggestions on things that you do want to see me do during the stream, and I can make it work. I could provide value and make sure that you guys get that worth. Like last time, I used to run some like webinars too, like pre-market. We'd do like a quick lesson on certain concepts if you want. We could do that as well sometimes. If you guys tell me exactly what you're interested in learning, I could go through a couple concepts, explain those things for you. If you have want to learn something like that, then let me know in the comments or let me know in the chat right now, and then we can plan that too. Walmart. Okay, so hit this long-term supply zone, and it looks like it rejected it pretty big time. Do I like the downside here? Yes. Do I think it's an obvious play? Yes. I think a break below 146.50 secures it. And I think that if you get that pullback, then you're going to have to be a little careful about it. Yeah, 144.56, but you have to first get through 146.50. Below that, then you have this downside. Possible bounce here too in this region at around 143 or so. So you have to be a bit careful here. It's tough. This is a tough setup because it's bullish, but at the same time it's just pulling back for a possible bounce. When something's bullish like this, I don't like to take a counter trend trade. That's the problem. So I like to stick with going with the trend rather than going against the trend. So what I would say is, if you're going to play below 146.50, make sure that you have confluence with the sector being weak. Then only is Walmart going to pull back that hard, rather than like pull back into this region here, the 138. Otherwise, you completely ignore this, and then you wait for the downside move, and you wait to see where it bounces. That will be a better move, in my opinion. Waiting to see where it bounces to the downside, possibly at 144.50 or 141.50, those two levels, before bouncing to the upside again. So I think that's a better play. But then again, of course, up to you and how you want to, play that. AMAT, okay. Applied materials. Oh, this is nice. I like this. Yeah, this is cool. This is semiconductor also, right? I believe. Industrial machinery. But I think they do... Don't they do semiconductors? Mission supply... Yeah. Services and software to the semiconductor, display, and related industries. Right. Okay, so they provide manufacturing equipment. Semiconductor systems, display adjacent. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like this. As NVDA and semiconductors recover here and start to break out, AMAT's going to go right along with them. So this is a nice setup. I like it. I'll move it to the front here. Maybe even put it on next week's snipe list. Looks like a good one. Break above 112 or 112.50 or so. Even 113 is good if you want to be extra conservative. Break that upside. And then wait for the pullback. So obviously you're a little ways away from taking the trade yet, because it needs to break and consolidate, but it is in a nice little pennant right now also. So yeah, I would definitely look at this one a little down the line. Not a perfect pennant, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Yeah, once it starts to get above this, then you can wait for the breakout, either direction pretty much. Up above, pull back, retest, then take the upside. Break down below, pull back, retest, then take the downside. Either way you can play this. And then you can get the targets by simply plotting the Fibonacci retracements or extensions based on what you want to see. If you want the extension to the downside, you go top to bottom. If you want the extensions to the upside, you go bottom to top. You get those numbers for what you're looking at. So yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. So yeah, above 112.50 or even 113. I would be 113 to be really safe here, to be honest. 113 would be a good level. If you really want to pre-party and you want to take that additional risk, then 110.50. 110.50 starter position, add on the way up as it breaks out. You can do that to take your risk off pretty tight though. Alrighty. That sends us to the end of a week again. What is your opinion about how the market will react to Tesla news slowing production in Shanghai, completely stopping December 25th to 1st Jan? I don't think that the market's going to price in anything in terms of that news. If it wanted to, it would have already priced it in pre-market, or we would have already seen the news reflect that. Remember one thing about news, guys. I don't know, I'm not sure why if this is a thing that new traders or beginner traders or even intermediate traders, people who have been in the market for a while, I'm not sure why they have this complex where they feel that news is going to be, like you can action on news. And if you are one of the people that are in that camp where you read a piece of news and then you're like, oh, I'm going to action on this piece of news, or I think that there's some edge here where, you know, this piece of news is going to give me an edge. Always remember that there are three guys, okay? There are three guys. This guy, Robert Shiller, okay? This guy, Eugene Fama, and another guy. They three wrote intense research papers, okay, explaining how the efficient markets hypothesis works. And that's exactly the pricing in of all and every information with relation to the stock market. And they all three won Nobel Prizes for that, okay? So if you want to know why I always keep talking about news and telling you guys that news doesn't matter at all, go read about the efficient markets hypothesis. It is a really important thing that you should know if you're in finance, okay? Because there is no news that is actionable once it is broken. It is assumed that the market will react instantaneously. So the edge for these kinds of things are very slim. Like if you tell me, oh, you know, Tesla might suffer from this or that, it's really, really important that you never, ever listen to news. News is have you guys ever seen me ever? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen me on any live stream pull up a piece of news? I have never. I'd never look at the news. Why? Because the news misleads you. It creates fear, it creates greed, it creates anxiety. The news will always tell you when to buy when things are running, and it will tell you when to sell when things are bearish. That's literally what the news does, okay? So if you ever listen to the news, you're always going to forever be in the back end, and it just doesn't make any sense. So don't put yourself in those mental traps. Keep your analysis very, succinct. There's no need to keep relying on news and these kind of things. The only type of news you do actually look forward to is economic news, right? Things like the Fed rate hike, things like GDP, things like CPI, things like unemployment rate. Those are the types of news that you actually need to know, right? So apart from that, please don't listen to the news. All right, whatever they say about Tesla or whatever, they could post that and Tesla's gonna rally anyway. It doesn't matter. It's at the end of the day, it's all about short-term price action. It's all driven by supply and demand. The news hardly matters. Okay, we're getting close now. 2 minutes to market open. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. I'll see you guys on Monday, back again. Take care. Have a great trading session. I'm going to jump on the team with Discord right now. And yeah, I'll see you guys back on Monday. Once again, if you have ideas for this live stream, you want to see certain things, put it in the comments. You know, tell me, or even message me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you guys. And also give me feedback. I would love to hear that. In the meantime, have a good trading session. And yep, see you on Monday. Peace out, guys.